So if you missed it last night, in game 3 between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, early in the game in the first half, the Timberwolves at one point led 47-21. They proceeded to blow that lead and allow the Grizzlies back in the game. Fast forward to about 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Timberwolves led 79-54. The Grizzlies then outscored them 50-16 for the rest of the game, including 37-12 in the fourth quarter to win by 9. And so, first of all, how do you blow not one but two 25 plus point leads in one game? That is really, really, really hard to do. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are a disgrace. I mean, are you kidding me? What are they even doing? There was like a 5-minute stretch in the third quarter when everything they took went in. But after that, they couldn't throw a rock into the ocean from a boat. It was awful. One of the biggest collapses you will ever see. And it's a big one, too, because they could have really taken some sort of control of the series going up 2-1. Instead, the Grizzlies steal back home court advantage. I mean, I question what Chris Finch and that coaching staff were doing. They made no adjustments whatsoever throughout the Grizzlies' onslaught. And I'll tell you where the Timberwolves lost the game. They lost the game by giving up a little 13-4 spurt to end the third quarter to the Grizzlies. That's where they lost the game. They got complacent. They started going, oh, we got this in the bag. All you've got in the bag is your own vomit from your own choking. I mean, this is one of those things where, you think of that Stephen A. Smith clip from a few years ago. He's going how do you do that? And it's that's my reaction entirely as I watched them blow two 25 plus point leads yesterday. It was absolutely mind-boggling. The Timberwolves' offense in the fourth quarter was disgusting. I mean, absolutely disgustingly awful. It hurt my eyes to watch. It was sloppy. I don't even know what they were doing. They had no game plan in the fourth quarter. The way they played in the fourth quarter, I would call it garbage, but that would be an insult to garbage. And I have too much respect for garbage to insult it by comparing it to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are a disgrace, and they are a losing franchise. They are a losers franchise. Literally, their history, Kevin Garnett and a bunch of losing. Losing franchises do losing things like blowing two 25-plus point leads in a home playoff game where you can take a series lead. That's exactly what they did. The Timberwolves will always be pathetic. They'll always be a disgrace. They'll always be the joke of the NBA. And they reminded us again last night that will never, ever change because you know what? Timberwolves gonna Timberwolf, and they Timberwolved in epic fashion last night. I mean, I had a hard time processing what was going on. It was so unbelievable. I'm you've got to be kidding me, right? This isn't actually going to happen. Although, of course, I knew that if it would happen to anybody, it'd be the Timberwolves because they're such a joke. They're not going to win another game this series. The Grizzlies will win in 5. Maybe the Timberwolves steal one more if they're lucky, but they're the Timberwolves. Yeah, that will not be happening. Ugh. Yeah. The Timberwolves. Well, but my big thing with the Timberwolves, though, is they just have this from a coaching standpoint. How do you not make some adjustments? Like, clearly you're doing something wrong, and the objective here is to fix it. But they didn't even attempt to fix what they were doing wrong. I mean, to be fair, they were anything that they could do wrong, they were doing wrong in the fourth quarter last night. Like, their defense was horrendous, their offense was horrendous. They couldn't buy a shot. Um, they weren't getting back in transition. I mean, it just looked easy for the Grizzlies. Like, to be honest, there were stretches of the fourth quarter where it looked like the Grizzlies were running layup lines in an NBA playoff game. That is absolutely despicable. The Timberwolves, the players, the coaches, the GMs, the owners, they ought to be ashamed of themselves right now. They ought to be embarrassed because that was pathetic.